Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle video tutorial on Photoshop and displacements by custom shapes. Now, first thing to do, custom shapes, create a custom shape design. Well, you can actually see the custom shape applied there as a displacement using the glass filter. That's in the, go over here, filter gallery. That's the key thing. Firstly, let's create a custom shape design. Now, just going to remove that one. Not going to use that one. Custom shape tool. Now, this may be in a completely different position if you've got you can edit your toolbar, so you might have edited it and put that in a different place. So there's the custom shape tool, just down there. Then go up to here. Now you can use shape, you can use pixels, and also you can select a different shape. Now these shapes are ones from Graphic Extras, graphicextras.com, but of course you can come with lots and lots of legacy shapes as well you can use, as well as of course creating your own shape. But I'm going to use one of these designs up here, one of my Graphic Extras shapes. So there's the shape, and you can set a fill, set a stroke. Now I'm going to have no stroke on it, and I'm just going to go over here and have black as the colour. Now it can be grey, it can be, the key thing is with displacement maps, they are grayscale, so it's just shades of, see there. So I'm just going to create a very basic design like that. And of course once you've done that, now you can apply effects to it. You can go to layer, maybe add some like bevel and emboss, drop shadow, etc. If you want to do that, that's really quite useful. And that's a good thing about creating it as a layer, a shape layer. You can move it, manipulate it, and you can duplicate design. And even better, now with, this is with 2021. If you haven't got 2021, you won't be able to do this. But what you can do, you can go to View, and there's Pattern Preview. And Pattern Preview is great for creating displacements as well. So Pattern Preview comes up with a panel there, and you can see your pattern, and you can resize things. You can see the design there, and it's just duplicated. Now this is all artificial outside. This is not on your design. This is just the pattern preview. That's the key thing to remember. And you can move it and maybe duplicate the design. So hold down the Alter option key, or maybe create another shape. Perfectly reasonable as well. So you can see you can create different shapes like that, and you resize it. So once you're happy with your design, which you want to use as your displacement map, and you could apply effects as well. You can maybe apply blurs, you go to filters and maybe distort, ripple, all those sort of things. You can use those to modify this even more. Simply go to File and go down to Save As. Now it's not going to save all these other bits of design, it's just going to be this now. Got a file here, 1.psd, well I'm going to call it 2.psd, very original name. Save, and it has to be a PSD document. That's the key thing. Photoshop document, a Photoshop there, format, Photoshop. Unfortunately, it doesn't accept PNG, JPEG. I wish it would. I wish the various filters would use PNGs as well, because not only that, then I could use them in things like Affinity Photo and other applications that accept PNG. Save. So now once you've done that, what you can do, you can go to, and now this is image 16, you can find it on the Graphic Extras website. Most cases I put in the description. If I don't, it's just the Graphic Extras website / and this is image-16.jpg. Now I'm just going to do the previous ones. Now you can use, of course, for displacements, a number of filters. Key ones probably are filter, and go down to distort, and there's displace. Comes up, and you can set different settings for scale. Maybe go for like 50, make it extreme, stretch to tile, to fit, and then tile. We'll wrap around and repeat. You can run through those. Click OK. Fortunately, it requires two different panels in a sense. It's not so useful. I wish they would update that displace filter. So set there, and you can see your PSD file there. Click open. And now it processes, and you can see what happens. Everything's displaced. Of course, you can do that again, maybe, and you can use this maybe on different channels. So you can always go to Window and Channels. Always go to, say, Red Channel, go down there, Filter, and Distort and Displace. Maybe use 50. Again, use that. Also, it doesn't, you have to go and select the file again. If it's suddenly strange. .2.psd file, there it is. And so it's applied just to the red channel. You can go then, maybe get down there just go for the green channel, and then you can go to filter and distort and displace. Maybe use not 50, maybe -20 and 70, something different. And you can also maybe use some of the other settings, stretch to fit. Click OK. Again, unfortunately, weirdly, the 2.psd file keeps vanishing. Very strange. Appears again. How very odd. So you've got it applied, and then of course you can go back to your RGB and you can see you get a very interesting colour effect. But also what you can do, you can use this displace file go down here to filter and filter gallery. Set filter gallery, and you can go to this distort option here, distort and glass. And what you can do then, you've got your glass effect there. Now I'm just going to, you can load the texture via here. Why isn't it said load displacement file? Anyway, load texture. Again, 2.psd seems to have vanished. Yeah, the operating system doesn't seem to actually be displaying the file for some weird reason. Load, and you can see it there. You can see displacement there, the glass effect, using that file that you've just added. So distort, you can set it up to the max. Smoothness, scaling, you can vary that, make it smaller, and you can click OK. And you can see the effect there. And of course you can always play it again, so go to filter gallery and go in there. And of course you can always vary the scaling. I always love to combine it in different ways. Change the distort, click OK, apply it over there. And then of course you can go in again and again, apply it different number of times in different particular ways. And also you can do much the same. So go to red, filter gallery is still available. So you can go to filter gallery there. You can see then, go for that and maybe scaling up, click OK, and then come back to RGB and it's applied just to the red channel. So you can apply all kinds of combinations of effects. So that's all from one displacement map. There's that file there. And of course what you can do, you can always, with these, you can always remove them and just add this. You don't have to have this pattern preview, just makes it easier. So you could, if you want, just get rid of it. So you could just say view, no pattern preview. If it's not any use, but I think pattern preview is very useful for this. So again, custom shape tool, just go down there, got shape, maybe this time instead of that, you can go to colours there, you've got the colours, you could go with a gradient as well, perfectly reasonable. But I'm going to go with a grey, so just go with a grey. I'm not going to use that one, but I'm going to use, maybe just use one of the legacy ones. So all the legacy shapes. Great selection of shapes here. And you've got maybe film, frame, grime pack, music, music, that one. Select something like that. Again, just simply apply it there using shape. You can set obviously all the various settings. You can again go to layer, layer style, and drop shadow. So you can have a bit of a drop shadow there. Set multiply, change the angle, change the contour. Oh, maybe add bevel and emboss as well. So bevel and emboss, outer bevel, change the settings there. Inner bevel, yeah, do that instead. And you can vary the contour, of course. Okay, so you've got that design. What you can then do, of course, exactly the same as before. You can always hold down the Alt or Option key and duplicate. Duplicate that. Hold down the Alt or Option key again. Take that. And so you can create a quite more complex design. You can see all kinds of different designs. And of course, you can still modify this design. So if you don't, here you can go over the Direct Selection tool. Maybe select part of that design, just change it so you can modify. If you want some slight variation in it, very quick and easy to do that. However, once you've done that, you can save it. Again, key thing, PSD file. So file and save. 2.psd, I'm going to go for 3.psd file. Photoshop again, format, always a key thing, save. Then go back to this document. Now obviously I could undo all this. You can see the original design. Again, filters, and there's other ones as well that use the PSD. couple of others, but I'm just going to go to the most obvious one, which is this one. You can see again with this preview. This is the sort of thing that should be in the displace filter as well. Why it isn't, I do not know. But that would be lovely. Scaling, you can modify it. But what you can do again, always the key thing is this option here. Just go there, load texture. Now, unfortunately, there isn't a sort of recent files used feature. Be lovely, but load texture, and you gain 2.pst is not there, nor is 3.pst. It takes a bit of time to think about it. Oh, there they are. That's nice and load. And you can see the design is added there. And again, you modify the scaling. Now, sadly, you can only set it down to 50%. Why they can't actually set the scaling to 0, 1 or something like that, make it very small, I would love to see, but that's obviously the way they've done it. Smoothing and distortion set to the max. And again, what you can do, you can always apply it twice, 2 or 3 times, and you can get unusual effects, or maybe vary the settings. Perfectly reasonable. And of course, you can apply other displacement maps as well. So you can combine and create all kinds of different designs, all from a very basic, simple custom shape. Custom shapes are immensely flexible for creating all these sort of lovely designs. And of course, if you don't want it to be like this, you might also want to apply maybe some blurring to create a sort of maybe slightly different. And you can always filter, I say blur, Gaussian blur, convert to smart object. So you can create a slightly more unusual displacement map just by using, say, combining with smart filters. Smart objects, simple thing, with that layer menu, and go down to smart objects and convert smart objects, and then use it with all these filters. Also, another great thing with custom shapes is you can always go to there, 3D, and there's always options, new mesh from layer, and you can go to depth map, plane, etc., or new 3D extrusion from selected layer. So that's a great way of creating some unusual designs, which can also then be used in your displacement map. So very simple, 3D, new mesh, sorry, I went that one actually, selected layer, and obviously take time to process it. And you've got your design there, and you've got your 3D design, which you can of course move around. You can see it's moving obviously in the thing. Now of course it goes over the edge, probably an issue, but just avoid the edge there. And you've got your design there, and you can always just go back to a conventional, just simply go to layer and rasterize 3D. You've got your design there. There's your 3D design, which again, all of this can be simply file and go to save as, and save it as a PSD and use it in displacements. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Always adding new tutorials about Photoshop, Illustrator, Krita, and many other applications. Also, please subscribe to the Graphic Edge channel. Always adding new videos near enough every couple of days. Also, please add some comments. What things do I do right? What things do I do wrong? What things did I miss out? I just realised I didn't actually show pixels all the way through it. So anyone could point out, why didn't you show pixels? Well, I just didn't. I was getting carried away with using shapes. You can use pixels as well as shapes, of course. They're really useful. And you can also use the path option if you want, because of course you can combine the path with many effects, such as like flame or something, to create some very interesting sort of effects that can be used with displacement maps as well. Please add some comments, I appreciate on that sort of thing. Also, a dislike or like, always appreciated. Thank you much.